Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Brothers and sisters and brothers, this is a presentation I've been working on. I wasn't planning on, I had some other things I wanted to do first. I was planning on talking about this for a couple of days, maybe next week sometime. But I got a request this last evening, got a question, and this particular presentation addresses it. And it's good enough to go for right now. I mean, it has all the basic ingredients in it. Maybe I'll add some more later. Got me said I was planning on doing this later on. So I did some upgrades and everything, and I think it's okay. So it's concerning the witnesses, the two witnesses in chapter 11, a very important chapter. All these chapters are very important. And each chapter is a challenge. And chapter 11 is a particular challenge. And I'm not going to tell you all everything about chapter 11. I'm not going to tell you that tonight, because you will know in a few days, right? Because I was preparing it for a little while later, for a couple of things happen first, because it gives some very, very detailed information. It also gives you appreciation of how, for lack of a better word, sophisticated the angel is. I mean, it's very powerful. And when you get into it and study it, you got to pay attention. You're going to see that. See? And it's, like I said, it's very complicated, but in its simplicity, really. I guess I put it like that. So I'm not going to delay. Just going to get into it. Say a couple of things first. They're desperate to stop this message, but they can't. But they can stop it on the platform, the social media, doesn't matter. It's out in the atmosphere now. And we got this far already. We were trying to stop for over 30 years and we got this, and it hasn't stopped. We got the things are proceeding, and everything the angel says is right on time, and you're going to see that in chapter 11. Right? Everything is moving right on time. And right now, we're very near the boiling point. Like I said, there was other things I was going to bring in, right? You got not just me, but you got other people from for just looking out into the world and seeing that they're going to be at war with China very soon. Because they said that's what Trump's already building the case up. Because he says China's the one that caused this. And now they got this doctor running around saying it was on purpose. If someone is able to make that connection publicly, America has to go to war with China, because that was a biological attack, which has killed over 200,000 people. That's an act of war. They might have dropped 3 atomic bombs on 3 cities. If they had dropped 3 atomic bombs on 3 different cities in America, would America go to war with China? Of course they would. And they only killed 80,000 in Hiroshima when they dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. 80,000. So they've almost tripled that number in America already in these deaths. Plus the economy and everything else. So if they can tie up with China, they would be at war with China. China's getting angry over there. It says, if we read Daniel, we talked about that goat. Right? He said the goat got angry. And he came after the ram with shoulder. I mean, he was angry. See? And he paused. He came across the ocean. His feet didn't touch land. And he came moving fast. But then he paused for a second. Why did he pause? And then he picked up steam and hit the ram so hard with such a negative force, he knocked him down and crushed him, crushed his horns. America and Britain. I got this videos out there. I talked about Daniel. I don't talk about very much. I plan on talking about them more in the future because they're together. Those two books work together. It's all sealed. Now, one thing to say about the seals. We have these scripties and everything that run around. Look, did Elijah Muhammad break the seals? Is this all about the Bible? So either if it's about the Bible, accept or reject it. You can't pick and choose. If it's about the Bible, and you're saying the Bible is what gave Elijah Muhammad credibility, then you're going to say the Bible's corrupt. Then you can't say that the Bible supports him. You got to accept it or reject it. If you accept it, then if he didn't break the seals, then he can possibly understand what angel Revelation's talking about. I mean, he commented on it, everybody comments on it. There's nothing wrong with that. But unless he broke the seals, he could not have possibly got it right. He was guessing. He had a good educated guess. And he was pretty close on some things. But I've yet to see anyone get any of it right. I mean, not any of it. When you look, those of you who are studying can look around and go on these different stations, people giving their eschatologies and whatever, and not one of them has got even part of it, any part of it right, any of it. They get the first page, they start off wrong. First chapter. The first chapter, they start off wrong. Because they call that individual there Jesus. And they neglect the whole thing. It says, he's like the Son of Man. Like. Like means not. They get that. Right? That's the easy one. They get that wrong. See? Then you got Farrakhan walking around talking about that's him. In same breath, it says the man has lamb wool hair and bronze feet, like burning fire. Right? It's more like my complexion and my hair. He don't have hair like that, and he's different. That's not his complexion. It's just so much bullshit. And we're not going to worry about them. They're through. And you're going to see it in a couple more days. I said, when the four winds blow, it's over. Decision has been made, as the Quran says. You see the angels come in. You see Allah come with angels in the clouds, and the decision's already been made. But brothers and sisters, the promise Allah made to enforce this contract, that they're trying to do everything they can to get around it, will be enforced. We don't know that. We have faith in it. Why? We have faith because of scriptures. So if we don't believe the scriptures, then we have no faith at all. See? It says, a people without a vision perish. People without a vision perish. Angel is our vision, and very sharp vision, very clear vision. And the more you study it, right, the brighter it gets. And that's what you're going to need. You're going to need that to get through these next few days. It says it will be a time of unprecedented trouble, a time that will make children gray-headed, a time that people walk around drunk, right, and have not had a drink. It says, great men, strong, the greatest men, the most powerful men, be hiding in the alleyways, holding their groins like a scared female. This is not a joke. It's a time of intense darkness. And when you have a time of intense darkness, you need intense light. And those that do not have the angel, they will suffer. Anguish, mental anguish, depression. It says, men's hearts will be failing from fear of those things they see coming upon the earth. They have heart attacks. That's what it's telling you. Heart attacks can be like, they're talking about this virus. And the virus is out of control now. It's going to get much worse. They're downplaying it for this election, but they're telling you it's getting worse and worse. And we told excess is getting to the millions. Deaths, not talking about cases. See, America is being rocked, but it's nothing compared to what's about to happen. It says the wrath will be upon these people. All the things they have done is coming upon them in 1 year. All the shit they've done in the last 40 years has come upon them in 1 year. And they have done a lot. They right here, They talk about how great America is and how generous America. Generous with what? Generous with other people's money. This ain't their land. They drink other people's food. They drink other people's water. They eat other people's food. They live on other people's land. This is not theirs. Then they brought us over here. And it says, what you have done, so it should be done to you. So you call God, you say, God is not mocked. Consequence is the essence of the universe. Essence is never failed. It never will fail, can't fail. The failed universe would fail. And so now the God of consequence is here in America. See? But they'll never see him because they said you can if you see God, the day you see him, you will die. See? So that's a lot of some science in there. But he's here. See? But they can't recognize him. And most can't recognize him because they look for physical features. That's the problem. That's idolater. You should recognize him. The scripture tell you how to recognize him. Tell you what to look for. See? But Elijah Muhammad had the same problem. See, because when Farad left, Elijah Muhammad, short man. We told him and Farad the same height, about 5 feet, somewhere around there. See? I mean, I could never gauge how tall Elijah Muhammad is. It's a strange thing. See, I met him when I was in my 20s. I did security for him. Every time I got close to him, the man, he was 6 feet tall. It just was a strange thing. So I never got that close. No, I never got stepped right next to him. But I've been within 6 feet of him. And he always looked much taller than me. I knew what he was. I knew he was taller than that. But he looked taller than me. See, so I don't know. It was just a strange thing. See, the man was truly had light of Farad all over him. He wasn't a normal human being. And I'm not talking about any superstitious, spooky stuff. He had the light of Farad all around him. So imagine what Farad would look like. See? But then you get to the Lamb and say, well, he said the Lamb would be just the opposite. He says he would look like he was slain from the foundation of the earth. So, well, how does all that add up? You got a lot to learn, brothers and sisters. See? And like I said, I'm revealing more and more each day. I got so much stuff in the queue lined up for you. And I'm jumping over things like I'm jumping over something right now for this. Because someone asked me a question, and this here clears it up. Address it directly. And so when someone asks you a question, right, and you have information, that's what they're telling you where to focus at. It's like you go to the doctor, right? The doctor asks you, oh, where's bothering you, right? Well, you better tell them exactly so they can focus on that, right? So that's what he asks you, so you know what to focus on. So if somebody asks you a question, then you know that's where their mind is, so that's where you need to address. So we're going to do that. All right, maybe I have something to say on the back end, but right now, let's go into this. And you have to pay attention very carefully, brothers and sisters. And you're going to find this is very beautiful, very interesting. See? And you're going to get some more appreciation of how powerful this book is. And that no ordinary person will go in there and figure this thing out. That's why I said only one person could do it. And even once it's revealed, like some people still won't be able to keep up with it. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's go into it. Okay, brothers and sisters, war drums. That's what the witnesses are represented. Witnesses represent Iran and Syria, the Shia, called FARD'S rod of iron. You all should be familiar with this by now. I give this because to get you to understand that things are called by different things in different chapters. So in one chapter, the original nation is called the seven golden lamps. There's also seven golden lampstands. There are also seven lamps. But they're not the same. They don't do that in the angel. There's 11 lamps, right? Represents European countries. Seven golden ones represents the original nation as it was here originally. But see, the spirits is the case is now because it was corrupted. It was all gold, but now it's not all gold anymore. That black one there represents silver. Now we go into Malachi, it talks about purifying as gold and silver, because and it talks about, and it says specifically, right, that the Lord that you seek goes in the temple, right? He says specifically, right, that it's the Levites. See, because the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, is Levites. They're not the children of Israel. They're Levites. It says that. Also says it in Exodus when Elijah's followers are separated from Aaron's followers, right? And Elijah's followers was Levites. They make it clear, but the God was Israel. See, people don't know that. You didn't know that before I told you. See, so but the tribe of the Levites were grafted into the tribe of Israel, so they get the same reward that we get, but they don't get the full inheritance because they're adopted. You have adopted children. Normally, unless it's a special situation, you're not going to give the adopted children the same inheritance you give your biological children. But you treat them just like the regular children. See, they'll get everything else the children get, but when it comes to inheritance, right, the inheritance will go to your biological. See, they'll benefit from it, but it will go to the biological children. And that's what's happening here. That's why they have to go to the tribulation period. So, and they also call it 7 eyes. On the right here, right, I mentioned that each one was like a calf, one like a lion, one like he all has 6 wings, right? And the top 2 wings represents the Islamic part of it. So when you understand that, that shows who the golden calf is. That's because the top part of the Asian nations are the Middle East or the Arabs. So that's the golden part, right? So that's who Sunnism is, golden calf. Okay, we'll leave it there. Chapter 11, the 2 witnesses. Okay, you can read it. I got it written right here, so I'm going to stop it and read it sometime, or you can go and Google it or however you want to read it out there. When I go out there and like I have now the Jehovah's Witness, I use a translatable version. Jehovah's Witness has the best one out there, right? It doesn't cost you anything. You can download it. But they don't have, last time I looked, they don't have one for the so-called Old Testament. Okay? They have one for the so-called Old Testament. So what I do is you can get a concordance, a strong concordance, right? You're going to spend, I think they have one online if you want to get that. It's word by word. It's a little different, a little more difficult to read, right? Or something along those nature for the so-called Old Testament. You might find a transliteral one for that. I haven't looked, right? So I haven't had to worry about that because Angel, makes it. I'm not using Angel to work with those type of things. But this is transliteral right here, right? Because this is the Angel. I mean, the so-called New Testament. That's transliteral. That's what we have right here. Okay. So if you have the transliteral, otherwise, I don't know who else. I don't know if there's no one out there on any other site. But I know Jehovah's Witness, I think it's jw.com or jw.org, whatever, and they have a translator, right? That's what I use. That's what you see right here. And again, translator means They don't put the interpretation in it. They take the word, they find the word, they translate the word. Take the word, find, translate the word. So therefore, you don't get what you get King James, where they say, "Oh, I think this means this," and translate it, and then you don't know what you're getting. Okay? You don't get that. But when they do that, it's quirky because in one language, right, one word, maybe two words in another language. So it's, when you read it, it's kind of quirky looking a lot of times, right? But one thing I want to say, because of the question I was given about this rainbow, there's a lot of indication here that this book was meant to be revealed in English, because like rainbow itself, right? If you get another language, you won't, that subtlety be lost, and you won't understand what it means. And this is very important to this to the angel rainbow, because in English, rainbow is two words. Rain and bow is two words, but two words put together, right? In other languages, it's just one word. So therefore, it wouldn't make sense. Okay, so I just want to point that out. Okay. So you can read this if you want, or you can go out there and get your own. So, okay, here we go. Now, I put this here to give you a little taste before we get into it. This is very powerful. In chapter 11, they got these dates here, right? Okay, they got days, 260. That's 1,260 days, right? That translates to 42 months. Now you have to, I'm not going to go into details how to convert this. That comes out to 42 months, which actually means 42 years, okay? Then you have days 3.5. Well, what they do here, they say days 3.5. Well, a half is half of 42 months. See, you assume they 3.5 years. No, that's why you have to translate it. You have to understand what it's talking about. They say 3 days, 3.5 of what? Half of the months. They're talking about the months, 42 months. So that means that gives you 21 months, right? Half of 42 plus 3 days. That's 24. Okay? Did I just said right? Half of 24, right? 24. Okay? That's 24 years. Okay? So the first one is 42 years. This 24 years. The next one, it says months 40 and 2. Okay, that's 42 months, which is 3.5 years. Okay? The next one, 3 days and a half. See that? Okay, that's not the same thing as days 3.5. Some translations do the same, but it's not the same thing. It's two different things. Days 3.5, right? That comes out to 2 years. So that 21, half 42 again is 21, right? Plus 3 is 24. That's 24 months or 2 years, right? And the hour, I'm not going to go into this hour. I'm not going to go into that. I'm telling you right now. See, because if I tell you that, I'll be telling too much. You'll know about it soon. Okay. Anyway, those are the dates in there. And if you notice, see, when we're going to score in this a minute, the top in here, right? I put the D. This is represent the earth. The witnesses did not part of the earth. The earth is always talking about the one quarter earth, right? Because God represents the earth, and the 200 represent the earth as 4, right? The Lord there, that's the Lord of the earth. They talk about this in chapter 11. That's the Lord of the earth. The one sinner is the Lord of the earth. But in this case, the top two, they sit in mid-heaven, because they're between, the ones on top is heavens. So they're between the heavens and the earth. So in chapter 19, they call mid-heaven, right? That position right there is mid-heaven, or the Middle East. The top position right there is Middle East, right? Okay, so it says right there that they would be in control of the Middle East and maybe top powers in the Middle East, right? For 42 years, right? Okay, so there's a witness. So the starting point is 1948. 42 years, that make it 1990, right? And then said 1990, right? They would someone would make war with them, and then they would be cast down, right? And that would be for days 3.5. So remember I said that's 41 plus 3, right? Half of 41 is 42. I mean, half of 42, 21 plus 3. That'd be 24 months. Okay? Am I saying that right? Half of 41 is 21 plus 3. Okay, yeah, 21, that's 20. So it says they've been in that position for 24 years. So that would take you from, because the war actually started in 1991, right? Okay, check that out. So you take that, you get 24 years from that, right? What do you get? 24 years from 1990 will give you 2000, wait a minute, 24 years from 1990 will give you 2014, from 91 will be 2015. That'll be 2015, right? Okay, so you got 2015 now. So then, remember they move position now. Now the next one is 42. So 42, right? That's 3.5 years. So then they'll be in this bottom position for 3.5 years. See, these dates correspond to their movement. See how this thing is moving? They're moving around. See, nobody's ever noticed that. They're moving around, right? And then it says after 3 days and a half, that's 2 years, right? They start moving up again. But it's a curious thing because it says at that time, if you notice the one where it says months 40 and 2, it shows that demon there. That's one of the spirits. Remember I said he's also a spirit. And he's the spirit of what? That Lord right there, right? Because he's the Lord of the earth, right? It says these witnesses, they stood before the Lord of the earth. So I told you, so that's another, something else that makes sure know who we're talking about here. So it says, after the days 3.5, the spirit of the God, because he's also the God here, right, of the earth, came into them. So now they're covering that. See, that's what's happening here. See, so where that brings you at, right? Okay, now we got the 215, right? 2015, right? Yeah, 2 years to that, right? That gives you 2017. Did I do it right? 2017. Okay. Okay, 2017. I missed. I should be 2018. I missed something here somewhere. I'll calculate again. Anyway, it says after the days 3.5, right? See, maybe 3.5 years later. Oh, I'm not right. Exactly. No, exactly 2 years later. Well, that's where I messed up at. Okay. 42 months, that's 3.5 years. That's what I miscalculated. Let's backtrack here. Okay, we started 1948 when false Israel came into existence. That's what they witnessed against, right? To 1990. The war starts in 1991. So 1991 plus 24 years here, right, would be 2015. Okay? Then you add 42 months to that, right? 2015 would put you at 2017, 2015 plus, what is it, 4? I need to write this down because I'm getting myself lost here. 2015, 2015, 3 days and a half. 3 days, 40, 41, 21, 24 years, which would be 2015. Well, I should just wrote this down. 2015. Okay. Now up here you got 42 months. That's 3.5 years. So 2015, 3.5 years would be that's 3.5 years. That's where I messed that up at. 42 months, 3.5 years. So that'd be 2018 and 6 months. Okay? 2018, 6 months. Now we're going from March. That's the beginning of the year, spring. So that's 2018, 6 months. So that puts you at 2018 September. 2018 September, right? So 2 years later, right? That's the amount here, right? That puts you at 2020, right? In 6 months, because it's 2 years, right? So it says they'd be right there. So that was last month. But it says after 3 days and a half, they've been in this position. So that will put you where? That puts you into October. That puts you where we are right now. See? That puts you where we are right now. And then it says, then you got this position. This is where, because this is where the war starts here. See? This is where the war hadn't started, but it's getting ready to. Here is where the war starts, and they kicked them out. Now they're back in their position again. They kicked them out of the Middle East. Okay? So that was says, so right now, this here puts, because this will put you in October. See, because it says after the days 3.5. So because September would have been, but after would put you in October. We're in October now. That's what I'm telling you this, because we're here right now. So do the calculations, brothers and sisters. Right? I apologize because I said I meant to put the date, like I said, I wasn't prepared to give you this just yet, and I neglected to actually put the, something calculated in my head. Okay, so we're gonna walk through this slowly, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But I do some right here. Okay, now here's the verses, and I underline the ones that pertain to this particular slide. So it says, I shall give, excuse me. I shall give to witness of me, and they will prophesy his days 1,260. That's the 42 years. That's 42 months there. 1,260 days is 42 months. So he's talking about sackcloth. That's what they also call sackcloth. So you've been paying attention, familiar with that, right? It says they're all called olive trees. See? It's all called trees too. This gets into the one I was telling you about where it says, when Jesus healed the man that was blind, said, I see men as trees, right? And then he says, see them as they are, but he has spit in their eyes. Well, spit is rain. That's what, because that's, okay, I'm not going to that. Anyway, and these are two lampstands set inside the Lord of the earth. See? That's the Lord of the earth right there. That gives you another hint. Okay, so this is doing their prophecy. This is the position they're in doing their prophecy. 42 years, right? Okay. Then, right, it says, now at the point where they are right now, these have authority to shut the heavens in order that they not rain may be wasting day. This is where it addressed that question that was asked. Right? If we go back here, see rainbow up top there, rainbow. Okay, that's where the rain goes. Now change. Go back and look at the previous ones. And that's where it's always been, right? So they had the rain is not there. They had the rain, so they had to pour over authority over the rain, right? The authority, right? Shut the heaven. So it's not rain's not in the heavens anymore. It's down here. They got authority over it. That's what it's talking about, right? But also, right? This is Obama's time. He's the one riding the white horse. See the white one there? Because remember, those are horses. They're also horses. And he has a bow and a crown. Okay, there he is. That's Obama. That's doing his reign. Okay, there it is. That's what it means, right? Now you see a thing that says fear. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but you have to go to chapter 1 to figure that out, because this one tells him, it's talking about the Obama actually says, he put his right hand upon him and says, fear not. So his right hand was fear, right? And that would be his right hand right there. So that's how you know it's fear right there. You need to, that's important when you get further into this. Okay, so this is what that means right there, right? Okay. I'm not saying Obama was in president during 1948. This is a little further down the line, right? I'm just trying to show you at this point, right, what it looks like. Okay, when about the rain situation. And then it says the 24 years, right? Okay, so it's talking about days 3.5. That says 24 years, right? See, so that takes you, because the war started when they said it would take the war and overcome them. So that means, right? It took a while. So the actual war we know started in 1991. See, they started preparing, but the actual war started in 1991, around March, somewhere around there. So, so they was put down in this position. But it says they wouldn't be allowed to be buried, because when you're buried, you're under the earth. So they're in this position. So their position is like like the hour, like the on the clock, the hands on the clock. This is telling you the time, because you have to associate this with the time they're giving you. Okay. So it says they was not allowed to be put into mortal, some trying to say earth, right? See, so okay, let's move on. Oh, let me say this. During this time, this is when Suleiman, right, would go and go and talk to NOI, and they won't accept them. They won't hear it. That's their problem. They won't hear it. So he's there talking to them now. That's the black horse there, right? It's also silver. Okay. Then it says for month 42, right? It says that the nations they'll be trying. It says down the bottom here, the city holy, right, will trample. They will be trampled on for 42 months or 42 years, right? So that means they're under the nations, right? They're given to the nations, city. All the nations will trample on them. So that means they're on the bottom. Now they're buried for 42 years, right? Okay. I mean, not 42 years I'm talking about. That's 42 months. Month 42 represents 3.5 years. Actually, 3.5 years in this position. Now, this corresponds to this agreement Obama made with Iran and all that. So, because they're under control of the nations. So this is 3.5 years after Obama made the agreement with them, right? That they were under control of the nations, UN. They was under UN authority. I'm not going into all the detail about that, but that's what that means, okay? So 3.5 years they're in this position. That's where it comes to month 42, which is 3.5 years, right? 36 months is 3 years. Wait a minute. Yeah, 36 months, 3 years, 42 is 3.5. So 3.5 years from 2015, right, to 2018, March 2018. I mean, September, because we start off in March, not January. March is spring, first year. So that puts you, it puts you in September 2015. Okay. Then it says after the 3.5, that means that's 24 months, 2 years later, which would be 2020, September 2020. See, after that, which would be October, would be after October, whatever, but it'd be after September, right? It says the spirit of the life of the God. Here's the spirit of life of the God. Let's go to backwards here. See right there? Remember the demon? He's also a spirit. The spirit of that particular God right there. He's called the God or Satan, right? Or the Lord, right? So that one, it says, came into them. There it is right there. See? So in other words, they're getting ready to go to war. Okay? So so what you have here says, there's two things. You got to be very careful here. It says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life of God entered them, and they stood upon it. So no, it's two things here. See, they're saying two things. And most people don't catch that, saying two things. Because it said first the spirit, and then they stood upon their feet. So it's two movements. This is two movements, not one. Otherwise, it's one movement, right? This happened to them, this happened this time. This is two movements. Okay. 3.5 days, and then they stood upon their feet. So they're here right now, but they ain't stood upon their feet yet. So that's another movement. That means another time is referring to that. That's another time frame referring to that. Then they stood upon their feet, right? But there's another time associated with that, which I'm not going to get into. See? Because that's when actual war is going. They get prepared right. They get prepared right now. They're going for it. But this here tells you that the war has started and how long it takes. And I'm not going to tell you that. I'll be telling them. See? And that's what it is. So you didn't see it. That's what's going on here. And then they stood upon the feet of them. So now it's because now the feet is them down there on top. Okay? Then it says, right? And then in that hour, right? Because that's the last piece in there, right? If you go back here at the times, right? Hour was the last piece of time that we hadn't talked about. But in that hour, once the war is won, right? Because let's go back here. Let's go back. See that there hour? Hour's the last part, right? That's when the war is won. So in that hour, right? The great shaking, that's the war we're talking about. See? Because when that war is won, that's when Babylon falls. See? See here? So when Babylon falls, falls Israel off take them out. Babylon falls. Those familiar with that, right? And so you leave a vacancy hole right there. It says 1/10 of the city, right? Well, there it is, 1/10, right? Okay, how you figure it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's something, wait a minute. There's something wrong here. 1/10. I missed something here. 1/10 fell. Yes. Oh, the guy's in the wrong place. Oops, why is it doing that? Getting ahead of myself here. Why is it mapping? This actually should be above this, right? See? Anyway, 1/10 of the city fell, right? I got in the 11th position, right? So 1/10 of the city fell. That's what it means. Okay. So 1/10 of the city fell and killed. And this next one corrects that, I think. Oh no, hold it. I did something that correct, shaking. Okay, 1/10 fell. Oh, okay, you go. I missed that. Okay. It says 1/10 fell. Now it's talking about that hour. That's when the war. So it's not chronological order. Okay. Then you go. It says, notice here it says fear great fell upon them. So you don't have it in yellow, but having yellow is the next one. What does that mean? Remember I said fear. So those are 4 winds because fear is above all of them. Fear fell upon those beholding them. You see the next slide what that means. See, because that was fear. So what it's talking about, the 4 winds blew at that point. Because for that to be there, the 4 winds would have blown. Okay? Now, who can behold them? The only ones that can behold them is the one who have eyes. That's what it's talking about. Great field, those beholding them. So they're right there. They're fear, and then those right there, the seven that had eyes. That's what it's talking about. Okay? So let's back up here. I made error on the 10th city. I'm not going to correct it right now. Okay, here we got right here. We got the 4 winds having blown. We have again, Babylon hasn't fallen yet. So Babylon, when they fall, leave that vacancy there. Okay? See? So the wars happen. They've been kicked out. Right? Now they fall. At this time, this is when Suleiman comes. Oh, I need to go back or something. I messed something. I forgot something here. I forgot something. I didn't say that. Okay, I'm going to say this. See here, you remember in where it says that the Lord, right, the angel, right, was rising, right, and the seal, right, the seal, in other words, they was told to hold back the 4 winds until the sealing takes place. That's what's happening right now because he was talking to nobody, they didn't want to hear it. So then this sealing takes place. See, so the witness at the bottom, they get sealed. The elect on the top, they're the crown, the elect get sealed, right? So the winds was told to hold back till it happens. So I don't want to mention that. So we get, okay, now we move further on. The war's won, right? America and Britain, and they cast out the Middle East, right? Okay, then they fall, but this is the point where they're going to attack the black people in America. The fear is that if war breaks out, that we would join with the enemies and fight against them. So the same principle happened back in World War II. When they got to war with the Japanese, when they got war with Japan, they locked up all the Japanese. They were citizens of America, born here. They locked them all up in concentration camp. They're going to do the same thing to us. But they're going to go further. They're doing it with intent to kill us. So when this war breaks out, because when they do this, right, pay attention, it's closer now. Watch closely. When they do this, they're attacking the blacks. But they also, right, they're at war with China. They're at war with North Korea, right? They're at war with Russia. They're at war with Europe. They're in full-blown war. And they can't take any chances, especially all these blacks doing this stuff out in the streets right now. Okay? They're going to come against. See, all these black folks, told them it's garbage and everything, they're going to come against that. That's that point where they're going to try to kill us. You're going to see tanks coming, circling circling inner cities. See? That's what you're going to see. That's what it's talking about right there. That means told not to eat, means not to get rid of them, not to kill them. So the day you do it, the day you will die. That's what's happening right there. See? And that's when Suleiman will come and clean up the NOI during this period of time, get them ready, and protect them, show them what to do. See? That's what's happening right there. See? So, and what happens? Farad has to step in. If he didn't step in, right, this is where you see a story about Abraham, right? When he was getting ready to plunge the knife into his Isaac's heart, right? It was just about to pierce his heart. Farad stopped it, caught it. And he killed what? He sacrificed the ram instead. Remember I said the ram had 2 horns, right? One's Britain, one's America. It was caught in the bushes. Who's the bushes, right? Papa Bush and Daddy Bush. They're the ones that got them, the ram entangled in the Middle East to begin with. First God, one, second one, the bushes. I mean, is that a coincidence? But anyway, the top, the horn represents also the bushes, but also represents American Britain, and they were sacrificed instead. That's what the story is telling you. But as it comes at a time of unprecedented trouble, when you were just about to be dead, because if I hadn't stepped in and stopped the hand, he was gone. But that's what happens. How he stops him, He steps in with the four winds. Got to hit the four winds, hit him. Stop. I mean, you're going to literally see tanks surrounding the inner cities. They be moving in. National Guard and everything, they be moving in. They'll gather everybody up and put in a concentration camp, all black folks. That's what you're going to see. And that's where it hits with the four wind. Bam. Slow them down. See? Who's calling the four winds on them? Suleiman. Said, Farad, you got to hit them. See, they're in communication at that time. They're talking to each other. Not that that's the first time, but they're talking to each other. You got to hit them. See? See, because his primary concern is to protect. See, if Suleiman wasn't there, they might all be lost. Because Farad's primary task is to protect Suleiman. Whether you accept that or reject it, his primary task, right? Remember Jesus said, right? I got 7,000 angels set there to come and protect me anytime I want to. I call them anytime I want to. See? Satan to come and try to trick me, said, I got 7,000 angels that come at any time. See? To protect me. So he calls. He protects primarily the NOI. And they reject him. They don't want to talk to him, don't hear nothing to say. And he saves their ass. Because they was gone. The only reason other blacks are saved because in the process of saving NOI, they get saved too, temporarily. But the primary goal is to save NOI here. That's where he is. Because he calls down the four winds when the resurrection takes place. There you go. See? All blacks come together. The demons and the saints. Right? But the saints, right, that's the NOI. They go into tribulation. Demons are thrown, cast out. See? Even then, even at that point, they still, they're encircled. Right? They're encircled. They see the devil's going to get ready to get them. He's coming with blood in his eyes and blood dripping off his teeth. And they still say, "Come, we can reconciliate. Come on, let's reconciliate. Come on, we with you. We're not going to fight against you. We're Christians. We love you. We're good American citizens. We want to protect America. We fight for you. We're not going to fight against you." They still be talking that bullshit because they're demons. Because that's their daddies. They can't help it. That's why it says, when Jesus calls them out, right? That man, demon-possessed man, what did Legion Farrakhan say? I want to stay here. I want I'm just send me over with swine daddies. Send me over with the swine daddies. That's what happened here. Send them back in. See, they got the NOI. See, they was pulled out of the NOI because they all together right here. They were separated from the NOI and threw back to the sign dad. They were off the cliff together. There's a story right here. So now they're being thrown up. Okay, but they still saying, man, come on, dads, come on. You don't want to attack us, man. That we get them. But we loyal. We love the flag. We love you. We love America. Because they do. They didn't change their names because that is their names. They got their daddy's names. I mean, they have the right to those names because that's their daddy's names. They're top babies. So, there you go, right there. They're cast out. Because it says, and they heard a great voice, and they said, step up here in heaven in the clouds. See, those also called clouds, right? Originally, in the clouds. And they go up there, right? It says their enemies, right? See? Now they're up there. And the demons are cast down. You see? And then it says what? Now this here is the flood also. Then the flood is a flood. Remember the rivers and sea? That's the flood of humanity. The 200 million man army they talk about in there. It's not a flood of water. That's China and India. They're getting ready to drown the earth. That's why it says in the next one here, it says the shaking killed names men 7,000. Here's the 7,000 right here, separated. So here's the New Jerusalem up here, right? Here's the 7,000 right here. I got that right. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. 1/10, and 7,000, right? So you add up. Well, I guess that's the ones, because they're all eliminated. In the end, all of them are gone. See, because first they're going to get rid of Earth, and then they're going to attack us, and then we're going to get rid of them. Okay, that's what's happening here. That's the flood. Okay, and then it says the leftover. So after 7,000, the top is the leftover. Now notice, it says there's new heavens, new earth. So now the new earth represents what used to be the Shia, right? What used to be the moon or the holy. That's new earth. See? And it says, what God, after the flood, what did God do? He put a rainbow over it to show it would never happen again. They're trying to tell you, when you see a rainbow out there, that because the flood happened 1,000,000 years ago. And so now you wouldn't see a rainbow, that's God's proof that he would never do it again. No, this is what they're talking about. Because the rainbow is in this position now. It's over the earth, also over the waters, because they also, let's call it used to be called the waters, but now it's the new earth. Because it's above, because the heaven's above it. And so he had a bow upon it. Means it'll never happen again. No, because all the other stuff, they're gone. They ain't going to never be around anymore. That's what it's talking about. See, it says, and it says, and great leftover in fear. And here, fear again. See, fear is part of that. It's not that they're fearful. It's just giving you this angel language again. Okay? And that's New Jerusalem. That's the ark. Remember the ark was floating on water? Remember New Earth? It's also called the waters. The ark is floating on waters. The waters represents the tribulation. And the Levites, or the sons, they're going through tribulation. See? Then after the flood's over, right, then it becomes New Earth, so the tribulation's over. Okay, brothers, I think that's pretty much it right there. So I did New Jerusalem, I said that again. And that's it. I think I'm going to... I think that's going to be it, brothers and sisters. I'll leave it there. I have another presentation that I actually was planning on doing this evening. Perhaps I'll do it tomorrow sometime, or later on today. It's early in the morning right now. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning, I think. So this gets into the one I want to talk about. If that's what I do. Gets a lot of misconceptions about Suleiman. For instance, this says, well, Elijah says that there's a statement about as the lightning strikes from the east into the west, so shall come the Son of Man. So he identifies that being from Rod. Because he came from east to the west, that's not talking about that at all. We see that because all the events that's supposed to happen, when that happens, none of those things happen. Not talking about that, because there's one thing you need to do, and I'm going to say is when you go in and read the so-called, Gospels, which is called Injil, the parables, that's why I have several books like Mark, Luke, whatever, right? Matthew. They used to talk about the same thing in all three. So you can compare what it says in one to compare another, so you make sure you get it right. So when they say the sun rises, when they say as lightning strikes even to the west, in another one they say as it's lightning striketh from one end of heaven to the other. And if you recall in the Angel Key, I said Suleiman's talked to the Nation of Islam, right? That's the other end of heaven, because remember I said the witness represents the mid-heaven, between the heavens, right? So it says they come from one end of heaven to another. That part is the one end of heaven, and the top is top of heaven. So it means he's going from near to top. So anyway, we're going to that. I'm just saying. So there's a lot of misconceptions. I'm not taking anything away from Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? But he was a messenger. He was not God. He was not the eternal Christ, not the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam. He was just the messenger of Farad, messenger of Allah, right? And he will return. He will be given reward. He's not an Israelite. He's not one of Israel. He's not a tribe of Israel. He's not a Shabazz. Not a tribe of Shabazz. It tells you in Scripture. He's a Levite, right? But he will be given, right? When you go into the New Jerusalem, I'm going to show that again, right? But you go into there, right? You see what? You see Farad is control of everything, right? You see Suleiman, right? He's high priest, right? So he's the high priest of the original nation. That's why he's up top there with the original nation. We call him the lion from the tribe of Judah, because that's the tribe of Judah on the top, right? But Farad, he's the God. Remember, he's the God, the one, the sinner is the God of all of it, right? But that right there is a special, he's different, man. The Suleiman is different from all of them. It's totally different. There's nothing like him, right? So he's the high priest, because remember, God was set on David's throne. So David is Farad, but Suleiman was his son. They said Suleiman was the wisest man ever lived, but he was the high priest. He was the one allowed to build a temple. David wasn't. David was the king. So he's the one set on the throne. He's the God. But his son Suleiman, that's where Son of Man comes from, Suleiman, right? Latin. He's the high priest. Okay? You have to understand that. So he's the high priest. Farad the God, the one who's centered there. Under him comes Elijah, right? And right ones on both sides of Elijah is African nations, African Muslims. So he's the continent of Africa, south of Arabia. All that is put under Elijah's. That's what's given to him. He rules that, right? David rules the whole thing. Suleiman's high priest. Under him, you have the Nation of Islam. And then you have Sunnis on both sides of him. That individual hasn't been identified yet. I'm not going to identify him. That individual hasn't been identified. I never identified who that individual is. The individual will be identified in a few days, because he's the one that's going to spearhead the get rid of Farrakhan. It says, if you read Angel carefully, read Exodus, right? He was taken down from within. Read Mark. He was taken down from within. So you got those people. It says they will separate Elijah's followers from Aaron's followers. Read Exodus. And then Elijah's followers got rid of all of Farrakhan's followers. He's taken down within. And that person is going to emerge. That's what you don't talk about him, because he's in there. See, he's a whole lot of stuff you don't know, bro. Says, but they're getting ready to get rid of Farrakhan's dumb ass. His lying ass. They're getting ready to get rid of him. He's a demon. They know it. They were trying to outweight him, wait him out. Hope he just die. But he won't die, so they won't get rid of him. That's what happened very soon. And that person is going to emerge, and that person is going to want, he's going to be the ruler of all this Arab Sunni, him, and all the people listening. That's Elijah's followers now in NOI. They're going to rule all the Arab nations, but they won't be in Saudi Arabia, so-called Saudi Arabia. They won't be in Arabia anymore. They'll be like up there in the Caucasus and stuff above that, above where Iran, Afghanistan area. That's where they're going to be moved to there. See? So you got the continent of Africa, south of, from Egypt down. That's under Elijah. Farad's throne would be in Jerusalem. He ruled the whole thing, the whole planet, right? This person that I'm talking about, that person will rule up his throne, will be somewhere around Afghanistan, that area. He ruled all the Arabs will move in that area, right? And then the city of Mecca, that's where Suleiman, he's the high priest. His throne will be there. Now him, but all of Arabia, right? Jerusalem is between Africa and Arabia. You get it? So you Africa, Elijah. Jerusalem is between, I'm going to say North and South Africa, to make it simple. South Africa is south of Jerusalem. North Africa is north of Jerusalem. So North Africa is what we now call Saudi Arabia. What we call Africa right now, right, that's south. But all Africa. Jerusalem is right in the middle. That's where Farad will rule, because he's going to rule all of it. But Elijah will have Africa. Look at Angel, it's right there in Angel. Suleiman, his throne will be Mecca, right? All of Arabia be under him. They'll be spiritual leaders of the world. That's where we're going to be. All the seed of Abraham, that's what's promised him. I showed in the previous thing. That's what's promised him. That's the promised land. And Suleiman will be there. He'll rule that, right? With his 144,000. Okay? They're the ones that's the leaders. Okay? And then the Iranians, right? They're going to be with Persia. That's where they are right now. They'll be in Persia. Also, they'll be Syria and all around that area because that's FARD'S. He will use them to rule the nation. They're his rod of iron. They still have Persia, right? They have Syria. The place they have right now, they have all that, except in Arabia. And then north of that, like Afghanistan, all that area, that's where all the Arabs will be. And that's where that person will rule. It has been identified. He's going to be identified. And when the war starts, he will be identified. He's going to be the one that's going to stand up and get rid of Farrakhan. See? Then he'll be identified. And that will be his domain. Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope you understand. Remember, you're the apple of Farah's eyes, right? You seed of Abraham, he's here to protect you. You're a Levite, right? You get the protection, right? But if you failed in your mission, you're supposed to stand up and continue Elijah's, Muhammad's, because he says, I will send Elijah to prepare the way before me. You're supposed to complete that task. Because who's to me? That's Suleiman. He's the one who's going to come and clean the temple up. He's also called the messenger of the covenant. Why messenger of the covenant? Because that's all he's going to be talking about is the covenant. He's going to tell you about the covenant. That's all he's going to be talking about is the covenant. Because that's all it's all about. That's why I call him the messenger of the covenant. Elijah Muhammad didn't just talk about the covenant. He can remind us of it. But all the things he talked about. But this messenger, always he come because he was fulfilling the covenant. Joshua's come to fulfill the covenant. He's the one to take us home. That's all he talks about. That's why I call him the messenger of the covenant. If you're the messenger of the covenant, that means that's what you're talking about. That's what you present it. You explain it. You tell everybody, you make everybody clear. And you bring it, and you actually fulfill the covenant. That's what Suleiman would do. That's not what Elijah Muhammad did. See? He's supposed to prepare the way, and that's what he did. But then in his absence, right? Aaron went crazy. And he turned people back around. That's why I call him Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds of NOI backwards. He turned NOI backwards. That's not a coincidence. So now that's why they got to go to the tribulation period, because they failed in their mission. Okay, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.